Hello! It's Wednesday night, and I'm painting again. How is everyone? I just went out to the garden, and I got eaten alive by mosquitoes. Sorry, I had to make something not make noise. Fixed it. I got like 8 or 9 mosquito bites while I was out there in like the 10 minutes I was out there. It's absolutely ridiculous. So that was frustrating, and I have an allergy, which means that any bites I get swell up to like the size of a $50, like they're really big. It sucks. And I have 3 on like the top of my left foot. It's driving me crazy. So I used like a hydrocortisone cream, and it doesn't do much. So, real great. Love that. So, that has been what I've been up to lately. And then I came up here and started getting things ready. Carly says, your sister is watching. Hi, Car. She says, spray yourself with bug spray. It's too late for that. They're not in the house. Scratch that. We have had a wasp in the house lately we've been trying to deal with. Well, we got the wasp. We've seen more. So they're in the... We're trying to deal with that. It's been great. Sakura Silica says, I asked my allergist for medicated cortisone and it works. I'll have to ask about that. Because I had a blood draw on Monday, and they put paper tape over it, and 10 minutes later, I had like a huge rash from the paper tape. So I'm allergic to so many things. It sucks. I hate that. Because like regular Band-Aids do it also. And I'm not immune to paper tape, which is supposed to be less sticky, and it is less sticky. But I'm allergic to that too, so it's not very fun. My plan for tonight, by the way, before I get started on anything, is I'm going to be working on this again, which is what I worked on last week. And I have a few different sky layers I want to do yet, including clouds. So I got a few things to do there, and then I'm going to work on my midground and foreground stuff. And we'll see how far I get tonight. I'm not sure I'm going to finish the entire thing, so we'll see how far I get on that. Mr. Raichu says, did you get allergy tests after the whole recovery ordeal? I have not yet. It's something I plan to mention next time I have an appointment with my general care physician, which is like winter, so we'll see. I know I'm still allergic to peanuts because the neighbors brought over a dish that had like slivered peanuts on it, and I ate it, and I didn't eat any of like the actual slivers, but I was like, wow, this dish is spicy, and Steven said, no, it's not. You're still allergic. So that sucks that I'm still allergic to that. We have a 5-month resub from Chrissy G, 5 months from Land 144, 4 months from Paranite, 5 months from Mike Capella, 4 months from Furious Kitty, 5 months from Jamie 2286. I think I just did it. There we go. 4 months from Furious Kitty. Why? I don't know. The alert either, like, I think I hit undo instead of clear. That was a mistake. 5 months from The Queen's Thief. We also have 5 months from Harumi Kindle. 5 months from Hound's Flash. 5 months from Noah. A subscription from Elusive Fur. Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. 4 months from Trichianthia. Mr. Raichu says, that was the main one I was thinking of. Yours isn't lethal. No, it's more of an intolerance. I have other allergies that are bad that I should probably, like, know for sure, but I know they're bad. We have a 5-month resub from Tokunewt. We also have 5 months from Spinatrap, 5 months from Molad, 100 bits from Cool Al, thank you. We got so many 5-month resubs tonight. Thanks everyone for this. We have 5 months from Dude, 4269. Fierce Kitty gifted a sub to Detran. Thank you for the gift sub. 5 months from Shadowplay. 5 months from Tony. 5 months from Drek 900. Look at all these 5 months. It's crazy. 5 months from Lugia 6. Furious Kitty gifted a sub to my sister. Thank you for that. Carly, I don't think Carly's tuned in for a while. Carly has a busy life with many important things to do. 5-month resub from Aldo, and also 5 months from the Slick Duke. Thank you. Sudabite says, I want to get an allergy test done, but I haven't had a reaction since grade school. See, that's how it is for me with latex. Like, I haven't had a good reaction lately to be like, yes. But like the ones I've had are severe and scary, so I should definitely get tested at some point. It's just, there are other things that I need to look at first, so. Carly says, no, I'm always busy. Yeah, Carly is always busy. So the first thing I want to do with this tonight is I want to kind of push some of these stars back. And I know I did that last week, so I'm going to explain that and then explain what I'm doing differently. So last week I had done the stars and then I had put a purple layer on top to push the stars back. And then I did more stars on top of that. But this time I want to do the stars from the bottom and push those back in space, because when you have the sun like setting, the ones near the horizon aren't as visible. So I want those ones to be pushed back, not all of them like I did last week. So what I want to do is I want to mix up kind of like an orange pink color and paint over that down here just to push some of these back a little bit. And then once that dries, we'll go on to clouds, which was the thing I talked about last week that I wanted to do this week. So I have a bunch of warm colors here and the liquid paints I used last week. And then I have some transparent extender, which makes it transparent. And we're going to mix up something that's pretty close to like the orange color or the pink color, and then we're going to use that. So yeah, when are you getting LASIK? Not for a bit. I have other things. But LASIK is something I do want to get done. Because the astigmatism I have is not correctable with lenses. So I think that would be useful to have done. So I'm just shaking these because they do settle a little bit. Noah says, don't tempt the latex. Yeah, that would be bad, because that's like the bad allergy I have. Like the go to the ER one that I should probably have an EpiPen for. We have a 5-month resub from Win Parthia. Thank you. Kodiak says, what's everybody got for dinner? I made ham and cheese sliders. Those are great. I had a chicken sub. We went and grabbed sandwiches. So I need one of these little containers that I need to probably clean off. And the thing about these little containers is they're meant for watercolor, and watercolor will clean off of them great because watercolor is water soluble. Acrylic, not so much. So, that is something I need to do, and it's kind of a pain, so I haven't done it lately, but it's like this stuff is really stuck on here and it's not going to contaminate the color I mix, so I'm not super worried about that. We have a 4-month resub from Action Cat, thank you. Stir-fried chicken, zucchini, and eggplant, that sounds great, Nun Shoes. Chicken with mac and cheese dude has? That also sounds good. I haven't had mac and cheese in a very long time. The thing about these liquid paints is they kind of pop when they open, especially if I've shaken them to like mix them, and it goes everywhere. So like I said, I'm trying to mix up something that's kind of orangish pink, like the bottom of my sky, so I can push those stars back in space. So I'm using Naphthol Red Light, Quinacridone Magenta, and Benzimidazolone Yellow to do that. Please don't pop and get everywhere. You didn't, thank you. I did not have my nails done last week, and I have them done this week, so I half expect to like totally ruin them, but that's fine. Because that means I can just put another color on this weekend. Dragon Trainer says, I ate tacos for dinner. I was just talking to Steven about making tacos. This one's not open. Do I have an open one? I do. We're going to use that one instead. Carly had a chicken bacon wrap with homemade chipotle mayo. It sounds great. Did you make it, Car? Carly's a good cook. She's been making sourdough. I haven't asked lately how that's gone. I meant to. Please don't pop. No, but you didn't open. Come on. There we go. Carly made that. Sounds great. So I've put all my colors in here, and I can't tilt it too far because they're liquid. And then I'm just going to mix these up, and we're going to do a little test. Oh, that's way oranger than I want it to be. Renee says, I'm late because I was getting dinner for everyone. Ham steak, baked potatoes, and green beans. That sounds great. Carly said, sourdough went okay. It didn't rise enough. I probably need to knead it more. I'm going to try another loaf on Friday. Yeah, I think kneading more will help to develop that gluten. Radio Dread said, I got a pink splash because you resubbed at 5 months. Thank you. It's based on your name color in chat. Chaz can correct me if I'm wrong. We also have a 4-month resub from Dual Braids. Thank you. I need to pull out my sketchbook in a second. Once I'm like sort of happy with this color, I'll do that and we'll test this like we did last week, trying to make the purple. Chaz says, correct, your name on the paint splash is based on your chat name color, which you can change, by the way, if you didn't know. I forget how, and it's probably different on mobile versus desktop, but you can do that. Where's my sketchbook? There it is. So these were the purples we tested last week. So we're gonna test this reddish color. Oh, that's really dark. I don't want that. I think I might also try quinacridone by itself. I'll see how I feel about that. I spilled this, whoops. I think that's too bright. But I did get paint on the easel. Whoops. That's fine, that's why I have a drop cloth. Here's the problem I have. If I lighten this up with titanium white, it gives it a weird sheen, and I don't like that. So I probably honestly shouldn't use that. I should probably just use the airbrush extender, which is clear. Furious Kitty gifted a sub to Randomness 5001. Thank you for the gift sub. You've given a few out. 5-month resub from Renee and 5 months from Xenofantasies. Thank you guys. Radio Dread said, I really love National Park music. Carlos's cover is wonderful. Carlos is great, and he's like super nice. All around good guy. Alright, so I mixed clear into this pink. Is that too saturated for what I want, or will I regret this decision if I use that? It's hard to say. And here's that first one, a bit more transparent, and that seems too red. So I'm thinking I kind of need to go... I'm gonna try more orange, and then I'm also go like halfway between these two and see how I feel. The problem is I want to bring this up to like here-ish, and it's going to go on the purple, so it's going to do something weird to the purple. We can also go like on top of this. This is liquid, so it doesn't want to do a nice little smear. And see how that affects things. I don't know. This may just be a, like, we try it and if it works, it works. If not, then we're in trouble. Which is totally fine in painting. Also, I think I did it. I think I added more quinacridone and it worked, and more yellow. Yes, that will definitely work. So all of these colors down here were way too saturated, and this is not a very saturated orange color. And then I added more yellow, and it was too yellow. So I added more of this first color, and that got it oranger, but it still wasn't like this weird, like, muted pink color. So I added more of the quinacridone here, and that helped. So you can kind of see, like, this is more muted and less saturated. And this is what I'm going to use. So it's kind of a mix of, like, everything. I think I just didn't have the ratio right. So I wasn't happy with that. So now I'm gonna try and, like, mix up some of that again so I have enough. We have 5 months from Statman7 and 5 months from Jolteron. Thank you both. So, what did I say? Basically more pink and more yellow. More pink. More yellow. Get it all over my hands. Towel. That's better. So the other thing I had done was I had added the transparent extender. So, like, this is the same, but it's brighter because it's more pigmented and it has more of the colors inside of it. So now I need to add that and get it all over me. See, the liquid paints are fun, but they are messier. There we go. All right, so I have probably more than I need of this on my palette, but it is a better color. It's still kind of red. We'll add more yellow. And I can't lift this up because it's pure liquid, and I'm already making a mess. Much better though. All right, we need a good brush. I have to find a soft brush because this liquid paint will hold streaks when I use a harder brush. So I'm trying to find something soft. Not soft enough. Where's my red brush? I also want to find something a good size. This is very soft. This is a sable. But see, I like to do a square brush for this instead of a round. And then I have the mop. Mop might be good. Let's try the mop. Like, see how, like, soft this is? It's super soft. Versus something like this, which has a really good snap to it. And like this does not do that at all. This is like you would use for makeup. And I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of water to it, but I don't want to soak the whole thing. Maybe a little more transparent. Okay. I think this is good enough to try. And I'm also thinking of flipping it upside down so I don't have to worry about it being too close to the bottom here. So I have that on my brush. And this is going to make this a lot pinker, so I will be losing some of the orange, but I'm already liking how it looks, so I'm fine with that. Ooh, the problem with this brush is it's giving me off, it's shedding real bad. Don't do that. Don't do that. Go somewhere else. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take more of the clear and make a little puddle of that on the side, so that as I get close to the purple, I can use it more and make it clearer as it goes down into the purple, so there's less of this pink. And we're going to also try and smooth this out just a little bit. And if you can see, there's like a streak here. That's the transparent extender looking weird. It'll go away as it dries. Ooh, this is a brand new brush, so I didn't do anything to get rid of any of these bristles. So they're just getting into my painting. That looks good. Now we do the sides. Oh, that one's totally stuck. Okay. That one will live there. There, happy with that. We'll let that dry for a little bit. In the meantime, I have a huge glob of this liquid paint on my palette, and that needs to go away. We have a 5-month resub from Epic DXX. Thank you. Furious Kitty gifted a sub to Cheesehammer. And we have 4 months from Domo Arigato. Thank you. So if you remember last week, I had this, and you can see the purple on there's dry. Even though this is like a more liquid paint, I'm just going to add it onto here just to get rid of it, so I don't have this huge puddle of paint on my palette threatening to go onto the floor because it's like pure liquid. Oh, this works really good for filling in any divots that were in this from the thicker paint. So there, I just covered it in this red. We're talking about Pizza Ranch. I don't think I've ever eaten at Pizza Ranch. there was a pizza buffet in Myrtle Beach. Pizza Inn, maybe? Is CC still a thing? I don't know. We went to a pizza buffet last October. That was in Raleigh. Milton's? That sounds right. It was alright. Pizza buffet at Golden Corral. Do they though? Have I recovered from Golden Corral, randomness says. Yes. It probably took me a few days though. Like I don't think I felt better until Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Like I just didn't feel right. Oh, that's my clean cup. Ooh, this mop brush is really holding on to paint. Because it's like so fluffy. Is Pizza Ranch Southern? I have no idea. I've never heard of it. I mean, for all I know, there's one in town here and I just haven't seen it. Did you and or Steven ever get sick from Golden Corral? I was sick. A few other people were sick. Steven was fine. So, some of us suffered more than others. And now that that is like mostly cleaned up, I'm just gonna clean up a little bit more of this mess. Socially Awkward says, I've eaten at Golden Corral once, years ago. I have not been back since. Well, it's going to be a good long time, maybe ever, if I ever go back. Renee says, there is no Pizza Ranch in North Carolina. Good to know. I can avoid it. That is still super wet. The reason I painted this part, even though it's going to totally be a different color by the time I'm done, is so I could test it to dry. Because that part is going to get a different color so I can touch it and see. And get paint all over my hands. But shortly, we will start mixing up cloud colors and testing that while we wait on this to dry. Randomness says, I'm really curious how the meals were for the people that gave Golden Corral good reviews, right? Like, I wonder if they had eaten at the time we were there, would they have given a good review? So, like, people's standards are different, but, like, that was not a good experience. Like, was that a normal experience for that Golden Corral, or was that, like, not their normal standard? We don't know. I'm not willing to test it. The other hard thing about nails, when you have them long, is paint gets under them. Alright, we're gonna move this aside and pick back up the sketchbook. This is not dry either. And I don't really care if it smears, I just don't want it to stick to the next page. That would be a problem. I secretly think Golden Corral is run by Tenny Eddie. It's possible. Although the food seems normal. And now that I'm done with liquid paints, I can put all of these containers away. Because I no longer need them. Should probably put my X-Acto blade away. All right, let's go look at my reference photo. Okay. We will start needing some colors, and they're still on the floor from last week. So we're going to use a lot of the same colors we had used for our sky, because they're going to be harmonious with what I have on the canvas already. So I still have that palette because I didn't clean it off. It looks like this. So I think we're going to go like a slight more gray purple for this, just to tone it back a little bit. But I think we're going to keep this orange and maybe go even lighter for the clouds to give them a bit more sparkle. But we're going to kind of keep the same color palette for the clouds. So we're going to work on mixing that up. Mixing, not eating. We don't eat paint. Alex Butterfly says, how is your garden going? It's doing well. I have one watermelon, and for some reason, all of the little baby watermelons, I guess they're not getting pollinated, they just die. Like, the watermelons go from like the size of a large like green pea, and then they get maybe the size of a cherry tomato, and then they die. And I'm like, I don't know. Never grown watermelons before. I have one that's like this big, and I'm just waiting for it to finally ripen because it seems like it's big enough for the type of watermelon it is. But it's not really doing a whole lot. Right now it's kind of matte, M-A-T-T-E, matte, and that means it's not ripe yet. So it is not where I need it to be. Also, if you remember last week, I was like, I found my paint opener that was like the brand new one, backup one, and I couldn't find my old one, and I found my old one. But I have a ton of poblano peppers coming. I have a ton of jalapeno peppers, like almost ready. They seem big enough, but they haven't started getting any corking yet, which is like some stripes they get that you know they're ripe, or they haven't turned red. But even if I want them green, they're not ripe yet. My first poblano is turning red. I want to see how that tastes. And what else? I have a ton of tomatoes. I'm slightly sick of tomatoes. Oh no, why? Where did all my photos go? These are not... These are not the photos on my iPad. These are like all of my photos. Not iPad photos. What is shoot shoot? Okay. Going from memory. No, it says, I'll take your tomatoes. I'm never sick of them. There are so many cherry tomatoes and they just keep happening. And that's why I'm slightly sick of them. Just a little. I wash them up and then I'll walk by and eat some, and then every so often I do a dish and use up all of them in the dish. Did you ever try growing a square watermelon? So those are grown inside plastic containers. Do I need blue? I do need blue. And I don't want to bother buying one of those just to make it square. But they are neat. I've seen them for different shapes for different fruits and vegetables. Especially if I can't get regular watermelons to grow yet. I'm struggling with that. I think what's happening is I think I have some powdery mildew, and I think that's starting to slowly kill the plant. And I was going to treat it in copperside today, which is what you use on that. But there was some paper wasps hanging out in the garden and I didn't want to spray them with stuff. I decided that would be bad. A Minecraft watermelon. At the top of the screen, do you not have on this iPad selected? Sometimes it likes to activate on its own. Let me go look. My options are library, for you, people, places, favorites. Don't know. I'll mess with it later. It's gonna take too long. Google's paper wasp. Oh, they're real. They're not made of paper at all. Nah. Paper wasp was my high school mascot. Because we had a paper mill in town. Alright, so I'm gonna add some slow dry medium to this again, because between mixing all the colors I want to have in the clouds and using it and also talking at the same time, this will dry out very quickly. So we're gonna work on mixing that up and our colors. Carly says, we'll give you a paper cut. Was that a thing that they said in school? I mean, Carly went to the same school, so. No, Carly just said it. That's a very Carly thing to just say and come up with. Ooh, that got really chunky. I think I added too much. That's fine. It'll mix into the others. Alright, let's start with our coral color. So we're mixing an orange up. A pretty red orange, like not an orange orange. Randomness says, I feel like grade school mascots are picked from a roulette. So sometimes they are. Like my middle school mascot was an alligator for some reason, and this was Wisconsin, so it doesn't make any sense. It's not like we were in Florida. But sometimes schools will theme them. Like if the high school is one thing, sometimes the elementary schools will be like a baby version or something. Or like, let's say, I don't know, a high school was like the polar bears. Maybe the middle school and elementary schools would be like grizzly bears or black bears or something. Or pandas, I don't know. Sometimes schools do that. Kindergarten will be the teddy bears. So here's my red-orange color. You can see it's kind of close to what that is. And I'm going to lighten it up with some titanium white. Becca says, my elementary was not a train, but the concept of operating a train. Like a conductor? That's really interesting. Slicktook says, we had the same mascot for all the schools in our district. It must have been like a very important thing to the community. Let's see. It can be lighter. So this is not going to be my lightest color for my clouds, and that's because I want to do some really, really bright highlights on them. And I don't want to mix that up yet, because when I do that, and I do that ahead of time, I tend to overuse it. So I'm going to kind of like go to my second brightest color and then work from there. Or work into my shadow colors from there. Sapphire Becca says, my most normal mascot of all my schools was dragons. That's a cool one. Alright, there's my pink. That mixed up a lot easier. Sometimes that just happens. Sometimes you don't get to choose. Sometimes it's like, that was easy, and sometimes it was like, why won't this color do what I want it to do? And I am trying to go grayer, or like desaturated, with the shadow parts of this cloud. So when I mix up the violets, I'm trying to go grayer. So I'm adding a little bit of the complement in. So my next color is like bluish, purple-ish. So I added a little bit of yellow into it to tone that down. I'll show you in a second how less saturated it is than the purple on here. And I actually got a little more desaturated than I wanted, but that's okay. One of my college mascots was a pointer dog, because it was Stevens Point. I thought that was cute. And then my other one was the Blue Devils, which I think they could have been more creative because there's a bigger school that has that. They could have picked something more unique, in my opinion. Noah says, mine was Ospreys. Was the dog named Steven? It was. They were Stevie and Steffi Pointer. It was cute. I liked it. Steven's mascot was a bee. A wasp, maybe? I don't know. His name was Art. Alright, here's the purple. Oh, that was bad. Let's do a better pull. You can see like how gray that is compared to this purple, which is what I want. Why bees? I have no idea. Now I'm trying to make a darker version of this that's also like less blue and more purple. But I'm also trying to tone it down, and it's kind of turning to mud, and that's not what I want. I think this table needs tightened up. It's really shaking when I mix up this color. More yellow. Also, this is kind of the warmer version than this. Like, this is cooler. Maybe I should darken that up and use that as my darker color. That might be what I do, because this one's a lot warmer. Yeah, that's way more warmer. It's too dark still. We're gonna make this our next darkest. And then we're gonna mess with this one and make it better. And opposite of that one, because it's bluer, is going to be orange. That's better. That is way more blue and darker. So that is going to be our colors. Except this one. This one's gone. We have a 5-month resub from Luna Frey Belmont. Thank you. And we are going to be ready to start on clouds again. I am, however, going to cover all my paints so they don't dry out on me while I'm working with one of them. So I think I showed this off last week where I just take plastic and cover them and just kind of like tap it onto them. We have a 5-month resub for Mr. Viperfang. Thank you. And I think I might do a test cloud on the paper. All right, now we have to find a brush I like. I'll try this one. All right, we're gonna start with our, well, second lightest color. And I'm just gonna kind of tap in a cloud shape with it. And I'm just trying to think of like how clouds are pretty varied and they're pretty fluffy. So I'm trying to bring all of those textures to it. And I'm only worrying about the top edge of it because everything else is going to sit underneath it. And I'm only worried about where you're going to see this color. And then I'm going to pick my next color, which is the pink, and I'm just going to build this on top. And I'm worried about where you see the pink, so I'm just trying to like blend it a little bit and bring in some of the pink. And if this was right side up, the sun's going to be like up here. So the sun's going to hit this way. So that's where I'm trying to aim the brighter parts of the cloud. So like on the dark side, on the right side of this part, I'm bringing the pink up towards the edge a bit more. And like this one's going to cast a shadow down here, so this one will have like more pink and less of the orange. And then we're going to go into the purple and we're going to kind of do the same thing. That's probably too big of a jump, but that's why I'm glad I did this test. And this is where I'm going to start to worry about the bottom of it. Yeah, I'm not super happy with how I did that cloud, but this was a test. We have a subscription from Hero KS. Chow, welcome. Radiator says, oh, Steven trying to hijack Malstream viewers by releasing a vlog. He's trying to bring attention. Be like, hey, she's live now, go watch. So what I want to do for the highlight on this cloud that is my test cloud is I'm going to take my lightest color, that orange, and make a lighter version of it. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of that. You can't tell on the white paper, but you'll be able to tell in the actual one. Just add a little bit of highlights to the edges of these clouds. And I don't know if I like this paintbrush for this either. But this was a good test to learn that. What are we painting today? Good morning, ass. We're painting well, I'm currently working on the sky. This painting is a gift for a friend who got married. So I am painting that. That gift, not the wedding. That's way too difficult. And this is pretty dry and good, so I'm happy with that. And the other thing I need to think about is, so the New River Gorge Dam Bridge in West Virginia is important. So what I wanted to do is it sits in a gorge, so you have like the trees coming down into the gorge and then the bridge coming across the top. So I need to think about that with where the clouds are going to go, because you're not going to see all of this in the end. You're only going to see whatever's not behind these trees here. So I'm really going to bring this down here low. And you're not going to have a whole lot of clouds, but that's fine. We're going to have some, so we need to do them. Now I just need to find the right brush, because this one was not it. Fossick says, speaking of MalMakes paintings, everything is 30% off on Redbubble, including all of my stuff. Correct. Everything is currently 30% off, I believe, for the week. So, AutoChaz has that link for you. So I want a soft brush. This one is soft. I don't think it's too big. So this is what, a filbert, I think? This is not normally a size I use. It's an oval wash. Renee says, the desk mats are really great. I like how, I can't use them because they're rubber backed, but I like how big they are. We have 5 month resub from Samurai Master and 5 months from KJ the Quiet One. Thank you both for the resub. Alright, so we know what we're doing for the cloud. I have my colors mixed and this is dry, so we can start doing that. And I thought about kind of where everything is going to go, so I really only need to bring clouds down into this area down here. And I might bring them off the side because then they're definitely going to be there if they get seen, and if you don't see that, then it will look weird that they're not there. So I'm starting again with that light coral orangey color, and I am going to just re-tap that in here like I did on the practice one. And the thing I've noticed about clouds is trying to do like negative spaces. So like instead of thinking it as a whole thing, I think about like this scoop out part too. And because this is bigger, I am filling in a little bit more down here. I'm not worrying about like the bottom of the cloud yet. So there's one. And then we're gonna do another one that sits a little higher, and because this one would be further back, it's going to be smaller. And then we'll throw a third one in here too to give it some depth. And this one probably definitely won't be in here, but we'll just bring the edge of one in. And then we'll go into a pink. And because I'm thinking of the sun being like from back here, actually, we're gonna start to build in these colors more towards the right of everything. And I'm feeling like the orange is a little transparent, so we're just going to build a little bit more of that up. Actually, I'm going to do that later. We'll build into that later. Because what it's doing is it's just turning pink because there's pink on my brush. And I had said that there was too drastic of a change between the pink and the first violet, so we're gonna go halfway in between and just kind of mix a little bit on our brush. So we have a more, that's still too much, more pink. That's better. Now we can bring some of this in. It's a bit softer. And I'm trying to just keep my brush moving randomly, so I'm just kind of like scrubbing a little bit. And I'm definitely trying to get the whole bottom of the cloud to be purple. And again, I think jumping to the next purple, like solid for that, is just too much based on the little test I did. So I've mixed in more purple, but like it's not full strength yet, just to bring in more of the darker color. Oh, this is a good cover of this song. All right, now I think we're ready to go full strength with this purple. Sometimes the brush just doesn't give you the texture you want, and you have to like rub it in a little bit. But make sure you wash your hands, because you do not want this in your body. How do I feel about these? I think they need some of the bright colors brought back. Because the bright colors kind of got lost. So I'm gonna clean off my brush and switch to a smaller brush and just bring in some of those, especially that highlight that I was doing on the test that you couldn't see on the white paper. We have a 4-month resub from Sage of Stars at tier 2, thank you. All right, now we need a smaller brush and to clean off your hands. That one will be good. Oh yeah, definitely ruining the manicure. Soap might take that off. I also have a painter's soap that is like supposed to help a little bit more, so we'll see. Okay. So, smaller brush. And what I'm going to do is, like, this orange kind of got a little lost, and so did the pink. I'm going to start with the pink and bring that back in to some places, and then we'll bring in a little bit more of the orange. But it also lets me bring in some of this pink into the purple a little bit to give it a little bit more texture to it in some places. And I think the orange color got a little transparent, so we lost it a bit. This also lets me fix up some of the overlap parts. So I'm happy with the pink, and we'll move back to orange. Is this a Popsky song? Yeah, this is a Popsky song. What's the nail polish today? Nail polish today is Rainbow Snow, which I just got recently and I really liked. We have a subscription from Adrian Quill. Welcome. All right, back to orange. That looks way better. Way happier with this. If you're quick and you do that and you rub away the paint a little bit, it will go away completely. But you have to be quick. And sometimes you don't want it to go all the way gone. Sometimes you just want to soften it. All right, so I'm happy with the orange. Now I'm gonna lighten it up with a little bit more titanium white and add just a little bit of highlights on some of it. Is that too light? That might be too light. More orange. Now I have a habit of overdoing this, so I'm only going to try and do it in a few spots. Like so. Tone that back down. Okay, happy with that. Just as I turn my back and now clouds. They come in quick. They show up and then they're there. Childay says, I left for kitty reasons and suddenly clouds. Suddenly clouds. So now we have clouds. Chad says, just like they rolled across the plains, right onto the canvas. We have a 5-month resub from Phantom SVT. Thank you. Thank you for the resub. We have a lot of people hitting 5. It must have been like the exact timing from another stream for people to get to 5. Woo. Spray bottle. So we're gonna give this a few minutes, and I'm gonna try and find my pictures. Or not. I don't know. Yeah, this is really stuck on the polish. That's fine. I just need it off my hands so I don't mess up anything else. Because if it's on the polish, it's not coming off my hands. Or if it won't come off the polish and ruin things, but it will definitely come off my hands and ruin things and stick. I also think it's funny that I was getting all the shedding from the bristles from that mop brush, but it's like also in the water. All right, let's look for this photo. This is super frustrating. Concern. Well, let's go find one online. It's not going to be exactly what I need, but I'm done with the sky, so it doesn't really matter. I just need the bridge for reference at this point. I have to say, I do prefer using my desktop compared to like the iPad or my phone. It's just much preferred. I prefer to have a keyboard. The clouds are wet, but this is fine. So one of the things I can do is I can start to sharpen my chalk pastel. So I do have a sharpener, but I don't like to use a sharpener on my chalk pastels because I can get a better point. So I'm only using like the very edge of the blade, and I'm pulling the pencil, not the blade. The blade stays stationary. It's also a soft pastel, so it kind of just shatters a little bit. And I like to use these when doing paintings and I'm trying to get like perfect lines because they erase with water. And the acrylic paint does not. So the acrylic paint stays still. So I have a nice point that we will use to draw. I can probably just draw down here to show you. And like I can also kind of smear it gone, and then if I really want to make sure it's gone, I just get a wet towel and scrub it when everything's dry. It is a great tool. We have a 3-month resub from Daniel Bonin. Thank you. I'll also get rid of all those paint tubes that were sitting behind my chair. So I'm waiting on these to dry for a bit, so we have a few minutes while we wait on that. Renee says, we like to make a lot of things on this channel. We do. I have to say, this room is probably one of the warmer rooms in the house, and it is warm. Jennifer Jack says, could you use a fan? Yeah, but it's gonna mess up with the mic. It is just warm in here. Alex says, if I wanted to buy an assorted box of greeting cards, is that an option on Redbubble or no? I do know they give you discounts if you order over certain numbers, but it doesn't come in like a box of variety. You'd have to like go put them in a cart individually. Renee says, Steven needs to come in with palm leaves and fan you. He should. He could bring in some palm leaves and just get some airflow into this room. And feed me grapes. Yeah. We don't have any grapes right now. I have watermelon. I got tired of waiting for mine in the garden and went and bought some. Same brain. Grapes are good. Noah says, you could have tomatoes. I could have tomatoes. They're kind of grape-like. But I don't want that. The chat shares one grape is our brain cell. Oh, I need to make a note. That reminds me. Where'd my notes go? Note. Grapes. Good. Done. What is tomato but more grape? When you have so many tomato, they are all grape. What is Steven doing? He can go buy some. He could just bring me the watermelon. But I honestly should not eat while I have all this paint out. So I have covered water. I don't know. I'm in the mood for watermelon, which is why I bought it today. Sapphire Becca says, I'm having an accidental mal meal of red grapes and spindrift. Perfect. What's the meme? Girl dinner? Just add some crackers and that would be perfect. Some of my tomatoes are growing strange. Like, one today looked sort of like the shape of a peanut in the shell. So it has like the tomato bulb, but then it gets narrow and then it gets larger again. That was weird. It's still green. And a lot of mine have been turning into like teardrop shapes, which is really weird because I'm not growing grape tomatoes, which are that shape. I'm growing cherries, which are round. So it's interesting that they're changing. They kind of look like jalapeno peppers. Like they get kind of more narrow at the end, but tomatoes and peppers don't crossbreed. Like tomatoes and other tomatoes will crossbreed and peppers and other peppers will crossbreed. So my only guess is one of the neighbors is growing something that's a different shape. And like, the bees that we've had have gone probably back and forth between the gardens. Because a lot of people have gardens like mine in the neighborhood. That's my really only good guess. It was interesting. I found peanut shells in the garden, so I think someone maybe grew peanuts before me. I don't know. I found a couple. Renee says, my go-to girl dinner is a small bowl of cottage cheese and Ritz crackers. See, Ritz crackers and like chicken salad or tuna salad. That'd be good. How are we doing? Still a little wet. Dry enough I can touch, but it's the texture of the clouds feels different than the texture of this up here. This up here feels like plastic, and this is like kind of sticky. Kind of cold, like the temperature difference. Chrissy G says, peanut shells probably came from squirrels. That's true. Our neighbors do feed the squirrels. They just leave out a big tray of seed and who knows what else, I don't know. But they leave it on the edge of their porch railing and the squirrels like scamper up and like take stuff. I don't know what they're feeding them. They're cute though, because they don't have a screened-in porch, they just have a porch. So, like, you can watch them crawl up the whole thing and get up there. All bird feeders are squirrel feeders in disguise. Yeah, I have a squirrel feeder, or bird feeder, that's on a spring, so if anything too heavy gets on it, it snaps shut. So I don't really see squirrels eating out of mine. But the neighbors, when they just put out a tray of stuff, the squirrels will go get that. Renee says, I finally put suet in my feeders again. It's been so hot, my non-meltable suet is kind of melting. That's why I haven't put mine out. Also, since we moved, I don't have a suet feeder anymore. I need to get one. They're pretty cheap. It's just like a cage. But I can also wait till it gets a little cooler and then it won't melt. Do I get birds other than wrens? I get a lot of different birds. Lately I've been seeing a lot of cardinals. Definitely wrens. House finches. I've seen a lot of bluebirds lately. What else? There was something really weird that came up on, I was using Merlin Bird ID to do the sound, and something really cool showed up. What was it? I didn't see it, and I was kind of upset because it was a really pretty bird. Something that I've never seen, and I was like, oh, dang it, where are you? We have a 4-month resub from Trainswreck. Thank you. Diddy says, has Kepler been at ease in terms of seeing squirrels? So cats can only see, like, they have really good vision for, like, movement, but it's something that has to be, like, in their, where they can get to as a cat quickly to capture prey. And the squirrels are too far out for him to see and, like, notice, so he doesn't really see that. They're also, like, this big from how far out they are. Sapphire Becca says, my cats are good with bugs. Yeah, like if there's something in like Kepler's immediate vicinity, he will see it and then he might go after it. If it's like if he knows bugs though, like if it's a bug he knows he doesn't like to eat, he won't bother. So like we had earwigs at some point and he knows he doesn't like those, so he wouldn't bother to get them. But if it was a different bug, like he really likes crane flies, like the big, they look like giant mosquitoes, but they don't bite. He loves those. Chess says, oh, Carrie Sock and Scream Hours are starting early here tonight. I'm sorry, it's Carrie Sock and Scream Hours. At least when you carry sock, you can't scream as loud. Sometimes Sagan would caterwaul really loud. Just that deep guttural like, oh. And he just sounds so sad. Kepler doesn't do it as much unless, if I'm inside, it is humorously muffled. If I'm inside and Steven is outside, Kepler will cry for him that really deep, sad sounding cry. And that is sad to hear. But it's kind of funny because I know he will be fine and it's just because Steven's not inside right now. So this is still wet. So what I think I want to do is I want to grab some scrap paper. And I'm going to do a little test. Do I have scissors? Yeah. Scissors always walk off in my house. So I have 2 sets of painting scissors that Steven doesn't know where they are. So they cannot walk off, because I'm the only one who knows where they are. So if I put them back in the right spot, they will always be there. Renee says, I blame children for mine. Yeah. So what I did is I took a piece of paper and I just ripped it like this, because what I'm going to be doing is there needs to be the 2 edges that the bridge goes between. So we're going to play around with what we can see. So the bridge is going to be set, you know, once it's there. So I'm thinking, it's really this song. It is. It's the At the Fair. Have you thought about eating sorrel today? Now the thing is I don't want to lose all the clouds I just made. That's the problem. But like I need somewhere for the bridge to come in from. How do I feel about that? It's really hard when the paper's white and this is going to be black. That's not terrible. I do think that they need to maybe kind of like meet or overlap at the bottom. That looks good. Let's draw that in. Now, I don't really want to do this because I can't erase over the wet clouds and this will kind of indent itself into the clouds. But I'm kind of sick of waiting around. And it's fine because I'm going to be painting there. There. And this cloud was my favorite. And then like this part here was nice, so I keep that. Important things. Paint the paper black real quick. I have to wait for that to dry. So here was my palette for my cloud colors, and I only need black for this part, so I'm just going to put some here and spin this around. Now I have a choice here. I can use Mars Black or Carbon Black. And if I only do black, that won't really matter in the end, but it does give it a slight shift in color. So if I use Carbon Black is cooler and it works better with like blues, or if I was doing a like a midnight sky where I wouldn't have any of these warm colors. But Mars Black is slightly browner and it works better when I have some of these warm colors. So I think I'm gonna use Mars. And I lost my paint opener. Mars Black, my love. Mars is good. So basically all of these trees are deciduous and not pines. So I'm not doing pines. We are going to tap in. Do I want this big brush? What brush do I want? So I'm not going to have like points to these. They're going to kind of be rounded. You're too soft. You're better. What brush do I want? Not this one. So I'm going to use this one, and then I have this one if I want to do like smaller details. And based on how this bridge is, it's really, really big. So none of these trees are going to be like, they're all like close together and far away, so there's not going to be a whole lot of detail here. So I'm just putting a little bit on my brush, and then where this is, I don't want you to fall over. I'm trying not to smear it like I just did. But I do want to fill this in pretty solidly. And I don't want to make like just a straight line, so I'm trying to give it It is kind of an extreme angle, so it's difficult to not make it just a straight line. So I'm trying to just bring them up a little bit to make like these sort of tree shapes. You can kind of see some of this red through here down here. That'll get another coat. at some point. And I'm trying to cover this chalk line I made because, like I said, the clouds were a little wet, so I can't really erase it. So if I paint over it, I don't have to erase it. There. This was a good brush for this. Radiatrix, the tap tap sound makes me think of, I don't know, a cat running across the carpet. Oh, I just put the brush in there. It's like... We have a 5-month resub from Charlemagne's25. Thank you. I know I have more plastic to cover this black. Are those trees? Yep. This will need another coat, and I'm gonna decide if I want to add any color to this one, because this one's gonna kind of still catch some of the light like these do, but it needs to dry anyway. In the meantime, I will wash out this brush. One of my favorite brushes. Where are you? This one? This brush. This is a great brush. I think it was 25 cents at a home improvement store. It's just a really cheap chip brush. It's terrible for most things, but it's really good for texture. Because if you only get a little bit of paint on it, it does like really nice grass, or like really puffy clouds, like if you really want to have fine detail, or like leaves. It's real great for that. But it's really cheap, like, it's bad, but it's great. So I'm using the strategy I talked about last week where I have 3 cups of water. So I have this cup, which is the largest cup that I have, and this is like the first wash for the brush. So this water gets real gross real quick. So it's kind of like black, red. So I get most of the black paint off, and then I go to my next one, which is like mostly clean, and then I clean the brush again. And then I have my super clean cup, and that one gets the final wash. And then when I'm done here, streaming that is, I will wash all the brushes and clean out these. And try not to spill water all over the floor. Perfect. So yeah, that's that. And you can still see a little bit of chalk like up here, but this part doesn't have clouds, so I can erase that fine. I'm more so worried right in here where you can see a little bit, but it'll probably be fine. And if not, I'll just take like a tiny dot of black and put it over like the couple bits of chalk I can see. But if it was somewhere like up here, it would erase super easy. So that's great. We have a 5-month resub from Lunar Pearl, thank you. With the Kepi emote. Another like bedtime song? How many lullabies? This is slow too, but that's okay. So this is like still super wet. Yeah. And the thing with the bridge is I need to draw that in and make sure everything's really dry because I want it to be very precise with straight lines because it's a bridge and not like trees. So I can't really work on that until things are dry. So what I think I want to do is I want to put a little bit of greenery here, just a little bit, just so it catches some of the light. And this one can stay in silhouette because this one is like in front of that one. So like this one would catch some light and that one would cast the shadow. So that's fine. So I think I want to do that. I'm gonna switch palettes. And let's see. If I'm moving towards green, I probably want it to be teal based on the colors I have instead of like a royal green or like a yellow green. I think more of a teal color. But we could also put some of those like yellowy greens on the edges like we did the edge of the clouds just to bring in a little bit of highlight. Jess says, oh no, 3D spatial relationships mapped to a 2D plane, my nemesis. Ah, that's what it is. It's all about layering and figuring that out. So we're gonna start with more of a teal color. Do I have anything I can use and not mix up? How do I feel about Jenkins? Jenkins works pretty good. What else do I have? Sap green's a little yellow. Phthalo might work, but you're transparent. Too bright. Hookers, you might work. I'm thinking this one. You're gonna move over there. We're gonna go back to sketchbook. Oh my god, it's almost 9 already? We'll do this, and then we'll let this dry for next week so I can draw the bridge in well. Noah says, well, I'm sorry, say the name of that color? Hooker's Green Hue. I think it's named after a person. A specific person with the last name Hooker. H-O-O-K. Okay, Jenkins is way more yellow. Palette knife, where did you go? Nope, you're in front of me. I think that's good. And this is Jenkins. That's greener. Slash yellower. Okay. That solves that for me pretty easy. And your Mars. And where's titanium? Because we're going to mix up a lighter version. And a yellower version. All right. So some of this is still wet with the Mars Black, but that's fine because it'll just blend in a little bit. I'm gonna start with the color by itself. And you probably won't be able to see much of it, especially on camera, but I'm just tapping a little bit of it in to give this a little variation. And my hope is that it covers up any of this red we can see through, because now that I'm doing this, I can't give it another layer of black. And this one, like I said, is going to be in front of, but that's okay that I'm doing this way because I'll just give that another layer and wrap it in front of this one. Perfect song for the tappy taps of the brush. Perfect. Can you see that green at all? You can kind of see the texture of it when it hits the light. And I totally missed a spot with the black. That's fine. It'll get green. All right, now we can mix this up a little bit lighter. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of yellow to it and just a tiny bit of titanium, just to make a lighter version of it. And we're gonna add it into a few spaces on the edge of these. That's too much. Now you can see that, maybe? Is it still glared? This brush does not have the nice edges that the last one did. All right, let me see if I can turn this so you can see the green. Let's see. You see that green a little bit on that side? A little bit. I'm still working at getting it exactly how I want it to be. I also think I'm done with this brush because this brush isn't doing what I want at all. And the one I was using is wet. Where's a bad brush? Maybe. Yeah, this one. No, also don't like that one. Let's try the one I said that I liked because it was bad. Or are you gonna be too big? Yep. Ah, the dilemma. Nothing is like what I want. It's just, I want this back and I can't have this back. Let's see if I can get this dry. Or at least dry enough to use. Dragon Trainer says, about the root beer float bars, they are in almost all Trader Joe's. I considered getting them because they sounded interesting. They're really good. If you like orange dreamsicle popsicles but want root beer, that's what they are. Alright, let's see if this does what I want. A little bit. I want something small. And nothing's doing what I want, and I'm mad about it. Sometimes you have all these paintbrushes and nothing is right. Let's try a fan. Kind of works because I can use the corners of it a lot easier. That's better. Fan brush worked. I do now need to blend it out though a little bit. I can also do this like smaller in detail, essentially like leaf by leaf, which tends to look good, but is obviously a lot more time consuming. So I'm just doing a little bit of that on these edges. just to make them pop a little bit more. And then I can add some of these other trees in this way. There, very happy with that. Let's turn it so we don't have so much of a glare. That's better. You can kind of see the trees that way. That feels much better. And then the very last thing I want to do is I want to go back over this because it's dry and then loop it on top of that. Again, I don't have my favorite brush because that's wet now. So we're gonna have to do the overlap part by hand. And all I'm doing is taking that Mars Black again and just going back over this with that same sort of like dotting that I did from that brush. But I can't do because I don't have that brush. And I'm just trying to cover up where I see red dots down here because I don't want it to be overwhelming. And I could bring a little bit of green in there if I want. And I can even do that one that's wet because it'll just blend in with the black and be darker, which is what it needs to be. And I can go back in and get some of this chalk like this. Perfect. And I have a glare. I think I said it last week. This is some of the things I cut out of like when I was doing my full videos because like I need to see. So like I'll cut that part out because it's hard to show it when I'm painting this way. Do I have one more brush I can get dirty for fun to add just a little green? Yeah, with this one. Reed gifted a sub to Diddy Eggs. Thank you. Thank you for the gift sub. Alright, I'm just gonna add a little bit of green in here, just so it's not solid carbon black. I mean Mars black. But it's gonna look like this did when you could barely tell it was green. And I can't see what I'm doing. This just gives it a little something other than being a silhouette. So I like to do that sometimes. LaCroix green. Yeah, that's kind of the idea of it. It's just to give it a little something. So it's intentionally done and not just there. Oh, I scratched too much of the black off with this paint. We'll just tap in more green. Make sure I can touch the canvas here. And I lost a bristle again. Okay, it's harder to see, I think, than the other side is, but there is green. You can kind of see it in the texture a little bit. But you can see how the other side, like, definitely catches it, and the left side is in silhouette. But that's it. That's all the green. And while I have all this extra green, I'm gonna put it on this. I talked about this last week. This is just what I do with all my extra paint. I just keep putting it on top of this, which is just paint. And someday, I might do something with it. Paint for the paint god. Gotta give a little paint god. That needs a little bit of paint too. A forbidden tortilla. It is a forbidden tortilla. Alright, this is my Patreon ticker, so if you wanted to support me on Patreon, I'm sure Chaz will have the link for me. These are the names of my patrons, and if you want to support me, you can check out my Patreon. Things are still getting changed over because of switching to streaming. If you're interested in merch, everything up on my Redbubble is currently 30% off. This will be on Redbubble eventually. I'm obviously not done with it yet because I still want to put the bridge in, and that's going to need to be next stream. Fossick's too speedy, Fossick's got it. So, thanks everyone for joining us. Who is streaming? And we will need a raid message, because this will have to dry and we will have to come back to this next week. But next week, I'll finish that up, and then if it takes me the whole thing, then it takes me the whole thing, but we can also start something new. Oh, Thomas is streaming. Thomas is playing Final Fantasy while bicycling. And I'm stuck between Forbidden Tortilbo, but I think that would be something Thomas would get. He's playing Final Fantasy 1? Okay. We'll raid Thomas with Forbidden Tortilbo. He's biking? Yeah, he's on a stationary bike while he plays, which I think is a phenomenal idea. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Next week I'll be continuing this painting on Sometime, so check breakfast stream. And I'll be talking about that then, whenever that's going to be happening next week. So thanks for being here. Tell Thomas Forbidden Tortilbo, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks. And there it goes. Hello, Thomas. Eating pain is the forbidden tortoise bow. There, now I can see chat. That's one thing I need to program to my Stream Deck. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed Thomas. Thanks, I'll see you next week.